What is going on, everyone? Today is the day we check in on the feud going on between everyone's favorite streamer to hate, John Arbiter, and his nemesis, Jack 90. These guys are going down in history as two of the most vicious of rivalries to have ever occurred in the Age Mythology retold scene. Right now, at this very moment, there have been 37 matches played between one John Arbiter and one Uwu Jack 90. The win rate, 22 wins to 15 losses, a 59.46% win rate for one of these two players. No spoilers on who has the higher win rate in this rivalry. But nonetheless, it's time to get excited for a game of Age Mythology here. This is going to be a game that goes down. In my opinion, Jack is one of the best Aranos players on the planet in this current day and age. And that includes some of the best players as well. He does things with Aranos that everyone else can only dream of. Nonetheless, we'll see how it's all going to go. He's ready to drop one more villager, get one temple up. He's going to be building that with 2 citizens there. On the other side here, John has been climbing the ranks. As much as everyone wants to run around giving him a piece of their own mind, while they're all 1,400 to 1,500 in his Twitch chat telling him he's terrible, he's out there hitting levels above all of them. 1,800. Hitting that number. That's a big accomplishment in my opinion. Now, in this game, we will be seeing John going for the Klops strategy. Fear the Klops. Fear the Poseidon. Fear the John Arbiter. We'll see how he's going to go up against this Oceanus Aranos of Jack. Relics on the map. Let's take a quick look. There's a lot on this map, Valley of the Kings. Pelt of Argus over here. Next spot over onto this one. We've got ourselves Nose of the Sphinx. Plus 15% of base there for the buildings. Down onto this side, we've got ourselves Blanket of Empress Zoe. Minus 15% damage vulnerability to crush. Over here, we are seeing even more relics getting checked out. We've got Scales of a Catopolis. Jumping from the top left of the screen down into the center of the screen. Depends on where you put your mouse as to where it goes. I don't know. Over onto the right-hand corner of the map, we've also got Scales of Echidna. Reducing the cost of myth units. This will be a game that goes down in the ages. A fantastic second talent center here for John Arbiter with backwood gold here as well. Had he saved his lure, he would be able to grab this town center immediately, drop lure on it, have chickens there, and have Hunt coming over here for him to eat underneath the town center. This is the modern Poseidon way of town center shenanigans in 2025. If you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know. And I don't think John knows. But maybe he'll watch this back, learn from it, and he's going to go for a granary to kick it off, dropping the lure down on his second town center and enjoying life. Nonetheless, Jack with the Dodgerinos drops himself the Carnivore down. This is not going to do a whole lot of damage, but it will lower the town center's HP ever so slightly before ending. And we do also have a military barracks all up as he is going to be sending some units over here. There's 18 seconds remaining on this one as a hero Mermillo coming in to cause a little bit of damage here, maybe trying to get some damage onto the Cyclops. The Caladria is also going to be a little bit of an issue. However, 5 seconds remaining on this town center. Will not be any dead villagers. Shockwave to come down. We'll see if he gets one. No, he's just going to be pulling out the last minute there. No real harm done for Jack. Loses a shockwave. Gets a little bit of problems sorted over there. But we'll see what he's going to do now. Now, in this patch, I think Aranos got a bit of a buff. Like he did get a buff on paper as well. In terms of like his own units and things have gotten a little bit stronger, like the Destroyer's a bit stronger. I can't remember anything else off the top of my head, but the Destroyer's a bit stronger. But the big thing that Aranos got in this patch, as we are seeing a second town center coming up over here, is he can go a little bit more close to an enemy base. He can get a little bit more damage done as this, almost losing that Mermilla. You don't want to have that happen. He can get a little bit more close into his opponent. So, for example, attacking this is going to be much easier. Attacking this tower is going to be possible. So going for one town center ideas again as Aranos and putting a lot of pressure on early is definitely on the table against a lot of different civs. So we'll see how it's all going to go as the Mermillo of Jack roaming in over here. Mermillo is getting healed up. Villagers pulling off of this position. Jumping in underneath the main base here. Jack with some really, really good pressure with the Caladria at the moment. That's one Mermillo going to go down. Snipes one. That's a huge loss there for Jack's early game pressure. He's trying to get in here and trying to get as much value with this Caladria as he possibly can. John pulling out. You've got to sort of just let this be, in my experience, because killing off the Caladria, unless you actually get it, there's not really much point in like trading HP because it's just going to come back, as is going to be the case here as John is noticing the Caladria is still standing by. Meanwhile, on the right-hand corner, we see a Sky Passage coming up on there for the Elephant. There's one right on top of this town center. I love this Sky Passage here as well. One in the main base to boot. And like, why do I love this? Well, the main reason is all of a sudden, any town center you grab as Aranos is the ultimate of efficiency. I put my villager through the Sky Passage. I use the automatic ungarrison feature here, and I just click it onto the resource that I want. And then as the villagers pop out, they immediately go to work where I want with 0 walking time. So yeah, it's really, really good. Meanwhile, on the other side here, we are seeing John grabbing himself the Deimos of Sword of Dread. He wants to get himself out a couple of Paspists here. The problem for John, and this is a problem for, I think a lot of players can learn from, is that when you're playing versus Aranos, when you're playing versus this type of almost getting the Mermillo kill, not quite able to, but he does snipe the Caladria, and that's going to make this pressure dissipate here. But when you're playing against Aranos, when you're playing against Atlantean, when you're playing against big shockwave there is this low HP villager. Jack has his eyes on it, but he just can't get over there. John, good control for the time being, getting those villagers back to safety here. But what's important is getting out that early Pegasus. You got to know what your opponent's doing when they are Aranos. Is he going for Mass Mermillo? Is he going for early Contarius here? Is he going to be going into Destroyer Arcus as fast as possible? Is he going to be going into a fast Mythic for fast Fanatics? As an idea, that also got buffed, by the way. These things here are really, really important to know. John doesn't know anything at this point, but he is prepped for everything. He's got the hoplites coming out just in case it's going to be Contarius. He's got access to the Super Paspis, which is going to be getting a few out as well, as a forward Sky Passage now coming down for Jack, as he says, I don't need that super production anymore. My villagers are already happily over on these Elephant. They can move over onto these Gazelle, no problems. There's a gold mine here as well. I don't need this anymore. He could also come and grab these boars in front of Jack's face here if he really wants to. Now, John, 60 to 60 pop, getting his houses down, getting his armory down on the back here as well, looking to go to the heroic age. Playing a slow game here is basically the game plan for Poseidon here, especially Ares Poseidon. You're looking to build a Deathball comp and just shove it down mid. That's what you want. You want an unkillable comp, and you just want to put it right through the middle of the Aranos such that they can't get that value with those Sky Passages. And by doing that, one thing that's going to be very, very important here for John is getting his walls up. Got to get those walls up nice and early. Get over here, claim this position with a nice wall. Come up onto this spot here, start walling this off, figuring out how to secure this town center, or this town center is an absolute must as well. as John here looking for a bit of a fight at the moment. There's no heroes. This is big. If he can actually control this, he does actually throw it right in there, but Jack pays attention, pulls out, doesn't take that big splash damage as the villagers need to bail into the Sky Passage. And the question here is, can John kill this off, or will Jack pop back out and force a fight? It looks like he will end up knocking it down, so Jack just wants to say, no worries, no harm done. I lost a little bit of favor, a little bit of wood, as the Cyclops picks up the Murmillo, throws him to safety. You can, if you're quick enough, you can focus that Murmillo or that thrown unit right in front of the Cyclops and have no problems there, as Dionysus is coming through. On the other side here for Jack, he's going up through Hyperion. At the moment, unfortunately, Dionysus bronze, if you guys don't know, bronze is bugged. And what does that mean? Bronze is bugged. Well, bronze, funnily enough, it's actually hitting the enemy units as well as your own. The gods are a little bit confused in the last patch. They don't really know what's going on anymore. Had a little bit too much to drink, or at least Dionysus did. He is the god of wine and celebration. He had a little bit too much to drink in the recent patch, and all of a sudden he's hitting both players with that bronze. Now, I want to bring a little bit of awareness to one thing here that John isn't doing, which is really, really important in this specific matchup and against the other Atlanteans as well. And that is, you should build a stable. You build a stable not to spam out cavalry, but to have a handful of cavalry. Why? As we are seeing these Murmillo charging through, John will need to retreat back here. He does not have the units to place on this spot for the time being. The village is going to be retreating back. We are seeing Hippaspis now starting to come through. However, what you want those Hippias for is not for fighting these Murmillo. It's for hunting this. For hunting this. For hunting this. Over or everywhere on the map, there isn't basically an oracle. If I go into, as we are seeing a beautiful little attack here, if I go into Jack's perspective, look at the line of sight. He basically has the entirety of the map under vision here already. So huge amounts of value to be grabbed for John if he wanted to get out a handful of those Hippias and just run around the map. But bronze, medium infantry coming through for John, as his army is just not quite big enough just yet to deal with the mass Murmillo heroes. John here, he's trying to pump out units. He's got the farms down, so his economy is hurting. And beyond this as well, one big thing here that Jack is going to be doing, which I love, is he says, oh, you're going for Hippaspis. I'm going for Murmillo. You have to go for Hippaspis. This means I can now go for Hyperion, and all of a sudden, my chaos gets max value on top of your Hippaspis. Really, really, really good. And points for those at home, as we're going to play a little bit of Jeopardy right now. How much favor do you think? That's not how this game works. How much favor do you think Jack is getting at the moment with 8 oracles out? My guess has got to be something like 35 favor a minute. Let's have a look. 36 favor per minute. Hey, I was one off. That's not bad. That's pretty. I feel like I know some things here. 36 favor a minute. That's a lot of favor there to be coming in. And plus, he's also going to be able to grab this next technology inside of Hyperion called Sons of the Sun, which is gigantic for boosting your favor gather rate. But first and foremost, grabbing Heroic Renewal. And look at all of these. Look at all of these Murmillo. They're all hurting. All of a sudden, they're going to come back up to full HP. 1.5 HP per second onto this amount of units. Absolutely gigantic. Absolutely gigantic. There's more Murmillos coming through. Jack just saying, all I'm going to build here is going to be the Murmillo at this point. And John pulls back with a palace in his face. This is kind of cutting off this position, but we do see a fortress up over here already, so John could get out a catapult and start sieging this out, as we will be seeing a couple of destroyers in a forward Sky Passage also up to bring even more citizen onto the front, grabbing the remaining boars here. And one thing here that I love from Jack is, do you see a... Oh, okay, never mind. I take it back. I was about to say, do you see a farm in sight? Answer, yes. A little bit disappointed. I don't build farms as Aranos if I can help it, until the very, very last minute there. One villager getting sniped down as the wall's coming through. Going to be attempting to break the forward Sky Passage here. How many shots from the Petropolis to kill this one? I'm actually kind of interested. Is it going to be 4? Looks like it's 4 shots to kill off a Sky Passage, but Jack can just move back here and drop another one if need be. Population differential at the moment still in favor of Jack for the time being here, as the villager over here gets slapped. And John trying to get out everything he can. He is unfortunately building some Peltas at the moment. They are not going to be helpful at all as the Chaos gets dropped down. And John loses a huge amount of HP now. He has to pull back. He does still have this fortress over here, but he doesn't have any units there to take out those destroyers for the moment. And this is going to go down quickly. Shockwave onto those Hypaspis there as well. As you might think, hey, Hypaspis, they beat these Murmillo, but there's just not enough of them. And with the Chaos as well, it's just not a fight that John can take here. And Jack's Murmillo hero army is just doing absolute work. As the militia popping out over here, we see another palace coming up onto this point. Is John going to get pushed off this gold mine? He does still have a gold on the back position here as well. But huge amounts of villager losses for the time being for John, as Jack has just hit a gigantic, an absolutely gigantic timing on John. John loses his towns and a militia popping out. I'm not sure what else he can do here. And he does decide in that moment to tap out, as Jack takes the win and pushes his advantage in this rivalry up by 1. Yes, it is 27-22 for Jack. Wait, no, that's not quite right. It's 22-15 for Jack. A very, very close rivalry indeed. But in this one, Jack does get the advantage. For those of you wondering, wow, that felt so powerful from the Aranos player. Two things here that John should have done. The most important one, I think, is he needs to get out some early Hippias. Don't necessarily even need to go for the fast second town center, but that's fine as well. But just get out early Hippias and Pegasus and be scouting for those oracles and be sniping them non-stop in this game. That's something you can do non-stop. That can be a focus, because you can't really raid in Aranos. You can't raid their villages because of the sky passages. You can raid their oracles, and that would be a big way to slow down this sort of an attack and all of those Murmillos. Each one of these Murmillos is 2 favor, and he had an army of them, so that's like 60 favor plus. So if you slow that down, you slow down this attack, you're in a good spot. And beyond that, you really want to wait as long as you can before engaging. If you can engage at 190 pop, you're going to be in a much better position than if you engage at 150 pop. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this game, enjoyed the Aranos here, make sure you hit that follow button, the like button, the subscribe button, and all the other good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next game.